Hey guys, Buff from Gamebad today bringing you a video, and today we're going over the new conversion kit or the aftermarket part for the G36, which is the JAK Signal Burst. We'll go ahead and cover that here in-game and go over why I think this is kind of a missed opportunity for what they could have done to bring back the XM8 or the Black Ops 2 variant of the XM8 being the M8A1, which we saw in Black Ops 2 as a 4-round burst assault rifle. So definitely a missed opportunity here. We'll go through this. I'll show you guys the weapon itself, how you unlock the conversion kit, show you a couple different builds that I have for multiplayer and Warzone, and then I'll show you just a variety of different gameplay here against bots, showing off the different builds and compared to the G36 that it comes from. We'll discuss more about how they should have probably made this a XM8. Maybe we'll see it with the blueprint, but go ahead and back out. Here is the final design of the weapon with the JAK Signal Burst conversion kit on the G36. So this is just a customized design I did. I'll show you guys this build and a couple others, and then we'll compare it to the G36. But first off, how do you unlock this? Going to weekly challenges here. For week 5, you can see multiplayer, zombies, and battle royale. You have a couple different options. So I haven't unlocked it yet. I really don't think it's going to be very good right now. Definitely worth unlocking because I think the Holger 5.56 will get a buff, and then this thing will be pretty good. But the 4-round burst rifle is definitely a little hit or miss. I remember Black Ops 4 had the Swordfish, which was a 4-round burst, and that was kind of really good, and then it got nerfed, then it was really bad. But here you can see the different ways to unlock it. So go to your weekly challenges. Zombies apparently takes a total of 15 minutes. I'm not a big zombie player. I jumped in and just goofed around a little bit. Didn't get it, but I'll go back and get it for sure. You can also, pretty easy to get it in Warzone, but definitely the easiest in zombies. So you can see there, almost done with that. So 3 different ways to unlock it. You get that. Now if we go to the weapon itself, go ahead and back out and look at the if we just go ahead to the conversion kit. So for the conversion kit, you can see the description here is a aftermarket part kit. Let's see if it lets us actually read it. Conversion kit designed for accuracy and controllability with a 4-round burst, adaptable for close quarter scenarios with an integrated laser. It improves hip fire and tac stance. So if we look at this weapon, let's go ahead and just strip it down to base. We'll start with the base G36. So here's the G36 build. So what we'll do here is go ahead and apply the conversion kit, the JAK Signal Burst. You can see that the pros are bullet velocity is increased, gun kick control is increased, or decreased I should say. Recoil control is decreased, so you have better recoil and gun kick control. And then hip fire and tac stance spread is also a pro here. Cons are sprint to fire speed, aim down sight speed, and fire rate is decreased. So we'll go ahead and select that, and we'll look at the base stats with this. So you can see there, you're getting I'm not sure. So you're getting a reduction, fire rate reduction of 76.8%. So that's going to bring it down to 136 rounds per minute, whereas the base is 588.2. So you can see the differences there. The base bullet velocity for the G36 is 590 meters per second. With the 4-round burst, it's going to be 1,035 meters per second. So I have a nice DMR build with that. I think this may be more suitable for. However, it's going to be more of a multiplayer gun, I feel like, for now. I think Warzone, it may end up being a good option down the road. Your accuracy is increased there for hip fire stuff. Again, it's kind of a weird design because it should be more of a long range, I would assume, but they're saying it's close quarters, which you'll see the burst increase with rate of fire here, or the recoil. But again, it comes with an integrated optic. So again, more evidence would look at why it should have just been an XM8. You have an integrated laser here also. So if we just take the base JAK Signal Burst into the firing range, you can see you have an integrated optic, which is obviously supposed to be similar to the integrated optic with the XM8. And you can see you have an integrated laser there too, a blue laser on the bottom. So kind of, it's not very obvious to see, especially with this integrated optic. You're not really going to notice it there because the reticle itself kind of covers the laser path. But you can see there you do have a blue laser. Now this is the base, no attachments. It's going to be a one-shot burst. But again, the recoil is pretty heavy here. So take a look at it. If you can hit all 4 shots, it's pretty good. But the problem is, with the recoil on the weapon, this isn't going to be the greatest to show it. So you can see there, but obviously over ranges, that's going to be increased because the bullets are traveling further. So let's just take a look at this. I'll burst it at this far target and not really control the recoil. Now, so you pretty much need to settle or hold it down to keep it accurate while shooting at these longer range targets. And even that is difficult with the base. You really need attachment. So let's go ahead back out, see what we can do. You're getting a lot of vertical kick on this, so we're going to want kind of some sort of vertical muzzle brake on this thing. So we look at the stats. What can give us the best recoil, vertical recoil control? We have some of the old muzzle brakes here, obviously. Some of the new ones are obviously pretty good also. So I think this one here, the Extend Ported 290, anything that's going to give you really, really good vertical control. And this one gives you a nice balance. So 27% of vertical, pretty good. Barrel, we can't put any barrels on with this. Laser, you already have an integrated barrel or laser there. Optic, you can switch. So you can switch up the optic here if you want. You can put on something like, you can even put on the G36 optic also, which I think is better than the one that comes with this. But I'm going to put on, I think, probably any gameplay. I'm using a Schlager 3.5, I think, for this particular build. But really, any of these are fine. I think any optic here looks good. Now, this is where this buttstock here is the Scar buttstock. This is going to give you the best recoil control. You can see the recoil stats versus the other ones, right? This one's not bad, but not comparatively. You have some good options here. Problem is, the buttstock is too small for the weapon. Whatever it is with this model, the buttstock is not the right size to fit the weapon. It just looks weird compared to something like this. You have a proper sized buttstock. Same with this. These are all the correct sizes. These all look good. But then this one just looks oddly small. So I don't know the sizing issue with this. Not sure if this is something they'll fix because it's really not a big deal. It's not like you're seeing the buttstock in game, but it's noticeably smaller than it should be compared to how this buttstock is on other weapons, which we'll look at here in a second. Rear grip magazine, you have the same options, 20 or a 40 round magazine. I'd recommend the 40 round if you can find a slot for it, just because you're going to burn through ammo quickly with this. Ammunition, that's personal preference. This is just a weird build. You can use whatever you want here. This isn't really a weapon conversion video, so I'm not really showing you too much about the best builds for this one. This is just kind of building it up. Put any of these on here. Looks fine. 5-of-5 attachments. Let's go ahead and look at it. Now, how does it handle compared to previously? So go ahead and burst this, not control it. Much better recoil there, you can see, compared to this 4-round burst. So night and day difference. Go ahead and try it again over here. Let's try multiple, not controlling. So compared to what it was previously, night and day. You can see no attachments, these current attachments. So let's try it again here. Much easier to control. And again, you can probably make this even better with a different underbarrel for vertical control. I think vertical is the issue with this mainly. And with a muzzle brake on it, you can really take care of any horizontal that you need, as well as the vertical with the muzzle brake we have here. So if you put on more of a vertical underbarrel on this, I think it'll be good. Go ahead and back out. Take a look at what can we do for a different vertical option. We have this one here, the Chimera, or whatever this thing's called. Pretty good for vertical. Let's test this out. Can we get it next to this and see? So even tighter. So let's try it. If I can hit the target. Okay, so this is pretty decent. This is a nice build. Not bad at all. But again, the issue is it's still a G36, just with a goofy looking barrel on it. So it's really not the aftermarket part that I think I was expecting. Now let's go ahead and look at the camos on this. Again, you have the aftermarket parts. They do this weird 3D printed white goofiness. So you can obviously put any camos on this look awesome. It covers up that weird whiteness for the aftermarket part. Any of the solids always look great. Something like this, really cool looking. So that's nice. Now, that's one build. Now, kind of a Warzone build that you'll see maybe in the gameplay here, depending on how long I make this video. This is kind of a Warzone build I was messing around with. However, I think swapping out this muzzle for the one we had would be the better option here. That ported muzzle seems to be the better one. So you can see ported muzzle. Pretty much the same build we just had. I would even swap this out for, You can see with the horizontal and vertical, I would just swap this out with this. This is the same build we just did, just with a camo, basically. This is, I think, a much better build than what you'll see in the gameplay. I just came up with this one right now, made some minor changes, just because in the gameplay, the vertical recoil, not even against plates, even against the enemy AI, just base multiplayer, it still was difficult to get just a one-shot burst. You really needed to pull down vertically to get it. Here in Warzone with 3 plates, it's going to be a 2-round burst. Again, this is much more accurate than what I was using in the gameplay. So this is a nice build. Looks really good with the camo. This is the build I would recommend pretty much all around. Now, one cool thing with this is you can swap out the optic for, any of these aftermarket part optics, which have the integrated lasers. That overrides the integrated laser on the weapon. So you'll see here, if we do our tack stance, we're getting the green laser, not the blue laser. So this is taking priority over the blue laser integrated in the underbarrel. This is a pretty good build right here. This is shooting much flatter than what I was using in the gameplay with the original build I showed you guys at the start of the video. Pretty good. Recoil is low. This is a nice build, and again, you're getting a stronger laser here, but it's easier for you to see. Not that you're seeing it here, but at least you're getting the additional aim and stability versus what you're getting on the base laser for the blue one. So I think this is a good option. Let's burst it next to this and see. Pretty good, right? This is probably the tightest build I think we can get with this. If you guys have a tighter build to keep this burst tighter, let me know. The issue is, you have a burst delay. I'm firing it as fast as I can here. It's really not too much of a burst delay, but again, you really need to pull down still to get it on target. Now, it is pretty good in a semi-auto fashion. So here you'll see, now again, you can probably swap out the underbarrel to what we were just using with the other underbarrel for the vertical control. That's 7 to the body, 6 to the body. Again, 6 to the body. Let's try headshots here. 1, 2, 3, 4 to break, 5, 6. So again, not bad in semi-auto. Definitely usable. However, would this be a good option in Warzone? Probably not. And again, I think putting the underbarrel on it that we just had would help this. Obviously, is going to help the vertical control a lot. You can see how difficult it is to control that vertical control there with that build. But let's go ahead, back out, look at these different builds compared to like a G36. So here's the one build that I was showing you, that I think is a very good build. This is, I think, your best build, but regardless, here, looking at this compared to an MG36, kind of kitted out to a G36, you can see there's not really a huge difference here. They really missed the opportunity to make this into a XM8. You can see here, JAK Signal Burst conversion, XM8, or G36. This should have been an XM8. You can see the differences. It's not much of a difference at all. The only thing really different with this weapon is the barrel, right? You can see where it's all the same, and then there is just kind of a cutoff right there in front of the grip where the end of the barrel changes. Other than that, it's still the exact same weapon as the G36. You can also see this goofy whatever is going on here. Here, I can show it right here with the... Oh, I don't have the right underbarrel on that. Let's see, gunsmith. Let me just put the other buttstock on this and see. So here you can see how the buttstock is it just appears to be undersized for whatever reason. Go ahead and maybe it's just on the G36 platform in general, it's an undersized buttstock. I'm not sure what the issue is there. Go ahead and jump back in here and just take a look at it one more time. For whatever reason, it just looks really small on this. I'm not sure what the reason is, but it looks a lot smaller. Just looks very undersized with the way the upper receiver is sized for the signal burst conversion. versus how it looks here on the G36 platform. It's still noticeably a little bit smaller, but something goofy about it. Regardless, it must just be how it is on that weapon. Again, comparing it though to a G36, you can see a difference there. The underbarrel, or the end of the barrel after the grip, is the only thing that really changes with this weapon. Everything else, fire controls, everything is still the same. Now, on the weapon itself, the XM8 does have the same fire controls, charge and handle, everything like that that the G36 has. Jumping into the gameplay here. So, they definitely missed an opportunity here to just do a blueprint type, or with the conversion kit to have it a cosmetic overhaul design for the weapon, which they had been doing a pretty good job here. So I'm kind of surprised they didn't do that. Converting this into an XM8, or what you guys know as the M8A1 from Call of Duty Black Ops 2, would have been a better option, which I'm hopeful maybe we'll get a blueprint for this to actually make it look aesthetically like the M8 or the XM8, because that's a beautiful designed weapon. And the other thing is here, the G36, as I've said in the past, the G36 and the XM8 are the same exact weapon. The only difference is the outside aesthetics design of the gun. The internal workings of the weapons are one-to-one the same. However, you do have some pieces from the XM8 and the G36 which are sized slightly differently for the internals. Other than that, it is the same gun. The XM8 is a G36, just slightly more modified with obviously different aesthetics on the outside, a completely different outside design, but the internals are all the same. The XM8 should have replaced the M4 platform back in the early 2000s. It was on track to do so. However, due to a lot of political issues, that was canned. And then you had, the SOP mod program was kicking off. Then you had the M4 Block 2s, and now we have Block 3s coming out with the URGI program. So all of that, the XM8 should have been the replacement for the M4 in the early 2000s. It was on track to do so. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But here, they definitely, I think, missed an opportunity to make this JAK Signal Burst into an XM8. I think everyone loves the XM8, and if you play OG Black Ops 2, you guys remember the M8A1. It was a pretty good 4-round burst design. Now, in real life, the XM8 did not have a 4-round burst feature. I think it was single. It may have had a 2-round burst feature, and then full auto. I think there was some couple different variations of that because it was still in the experimental phase, with dubbing the name the XM8. So until they were formally adopted, you see the same thing with the XM7 is now the M7, or it was the M5 previously. Once it was adopted, you drop the X and you have the M7. So the XM8 could have been the M8A1 in the case of Black Ops 1 or 2. Unfortunately, never got there. Hopefully that's something they may do here with the blueprint, like I said. Definitely a missed opportunity because they are the same weapon. So really, you have the same weapon. All they had to do was, everything they did was correct here. Just the aesthetics, they could have overhauled it a little bit more to make it look a little bit more like an M8 or an XM8. Even they could have done something like they did with the AN94, is overhaul that design to make it resemble an XM8 with a little bit of a take as to what it would look like here. 20 years later, just about from when the XM8 was originally in trials to replace the M4. Obviously, it wouldn't come back one for one, but the XM8 M8 is a beautiful weapon. I really, really have been pushing for them to put this as a blueprint for the G36 since Modern Warfare 2019, when the Holger 5.56 was released in that game, because of the fact that they are the same weapon internally. So hopefully that's something they may do down the road. Unfortunately, I don't think they would. Otherwise, they had the perfect opportunity here with the aftermarket part to do so. But you can see a lot of features retained. You have the integrated optic that comes with the weapon at base, is very similar to the XM8's optic that it had on it. So they kind of brought us an XM8, but they really didn't bring us an XM8. This is unfortunately just a burst fire G36. Unfortunately, like I said, missed opportunity. Really cool. I think this weapon will be a lot of fun to use in Warzone when the Holger 5.56 gets a little bit of a buff. And I think the attachments and the loadouts I showed you guys is probably that one with the aftermarket part 4 times optic with the integrated laser. That build is the one to go to for sure. So let me know your thoughts down below. What you guys think of this? Would you have rather seen an XM8 or an M8A1 design over the modified barrel version of the G36? Let me know your thoughts down below. Till next time, this is Buffner Gaming, out.